Good evening, everyone. This is Neil Douglas. This is American Truth Finders. Tonight's topic: if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the presidency and vice presidency, and if the Senate takes over the Democrat as a Democratic Senate, what will happen to America? What will become of America? I hope that you'll join me. Hope you'll take part and share this video with your friends. We'll start off slow until we get a few viewers. We've got 3 viewers right now. Thank you. Let me know who you are. Say hi to me. So I know Evelyn's watching from the Philippines, and I appreciate that, Evelyn. Thank you so much, dear. And also, anybody else that can just say hi so I know who you are. The topic is too important. It's too important to ignore. It's too important not to discuss. If you disagree, I want you to disagree so we can discuss it. If you agree, that's the same way. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a big change coming to America if Joe Biden, Kamala Harris are become the administration, the president, vice president. We might even toss that around and say, well, it'd be the Harris-Biden administration, because I truly think that there is something going on that we don't know behind the scenes, that Kamala Harris will be definitely involved big time. Catherine Kramer, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you could make it. How are you? I hope everything's fine with you and your family. And anybody else that's on, please say hi to me and let me know that I know I've got a couple of people anyway. Some people will come and go because they don't want to get involved and they don't want to discuss what's going to happen to America if we have a Biden Harris presidency. But I'm going to tell you anyway. They pretty much admitted it. I'm going to tell you some of the things that's going to happen, some of the things that they're planning. I want your opinions, whether you agree with me or not, because this is America. Right now, we're a free America. How long that's going to happen, I don't have a clue, and neither do you. But it's going to happen soon. Right now, we got 9 viewers. Some of you, please say hello. I'm going to start off before we get into the Biden-Harris. Daisha Coons, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Feel free to comment, any of you, even if you have to leave early because of your health or whatever going on. I understand that. I appreciate everybody joining in. Before we even get started on the Biden and Harris possibilities of election, I'm going to tell you that that Nancy Pelosi is threatening to use the 25th Amendment on President Trump. She's going to announce that tomorrow. She's threatening to remove him from office. I think most of you probably have already heard this on the news. I think she is scared. I got a feeling she's scared that something's going to happen, that the American people are going to re-elect Donald Trump. Right now, I know the polls don't look like it, but I don't buy into the polls anyway. I don't care whether it's Fox, CNN, Forbes. They don't mean a thing to me because they are registered voters. They are not those necessarily that have made up their mind. There's been a lot of people that are still undecided. We talked to one today. So Douglas Coons, my goodness, how are you? I'm glad you could make it. And all the way from Tennessee watching. Well, you know something, I like that. All right, let's get started. Evelyn Douglas, how are you? I'm glad you could make it. Gosh, we got many people coming. Evelyn is all the way from the Philippines. And she's interested in what's going on in America also, because I'm going to tell you something that's going to affect the whole world. This election is the most important election I think we probably have in the United States of America's history. Or at least in the recent history. I can't necessarily say back when our country first started, but anyway, we're going to go on. If Biden wins and Harris wins, and I'm using that term together. And if I say just the Biden, forgive me. Doris Roberts, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could make it. How are you? Hey, by the way, speaking of Doris, I know Doris lives in Michigan. I've got to bring this up before I go any further. What in the heck has happened to Michigan, and what the FBI, the state police, and caught a group of militia people that were going to try to kidnap the governor, Governor Whitmer, because you know darn good well. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit concerned that she's blaming Trump for this, even though she was very, very pleased with how the police and the FBI have handled it. But for people to be having explosives and wanting to blow up bridges and take on the police and get rid of the police and then kidnap the governor, whether you like it or not, this is not the way America is. This is not our America. This is either a far right or far left organization that has nothing to do with Donald Trump, and she had no business blaming Donald Trump for this. I'm going to be honest. He would be crazy to even want to have something like this happen. I don't know if he's going to come out with a statement or if he has come out with a statement or not. For those of you that are wondering, forgive me if my voice sounds a little rough, because I do have I'm on an antibiotic for sinus and allergies, which is not uncommon. Anyway, we're going to start off. If Biden's elected, here's what's going to happen. If the Senate is taken over by the Democrats, we're going to have a one-party country, period. A one-party country. And you're going to lose so many rights, and I'm going to go through those rights, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen and tell you what are the things that they are doing. And if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. That's your opinion, and you're right to do so. This is still a free America. I want to hear your opinion. I want to see your opinion. Anyway, as most of you know, if you watch TV, people do read. I'm going to do the same thing because I don't memorize everything. I don't have the time, and I don't have the the ability to do that. I'm not as smart as some people who can have a photographic memory. Anyway, if Trump wins, we'll continue to nominate constitutional conservatives to the Supreme Court, and of course they are looking at as that being the Democrats are looking at as being stacked court if it's with Barrett as being nominated. Well, the Democrats are threatening. They will, even though Kamala Harris did not say anything last night in the debate, she would not admit it, and Biden will not admit it. They are planning on stacking the court with 13 Supreme Court justices. They want to stack the court big time. Well, let me tell you something. We need a balanced system. We need a balanced system in our Congress. Janet Blason, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you could find the show. I know a lot of people look for it, and I apologize if it doesn't come up for you. But at the same time, I am on StreamYard is what I'm streaming on. So I'm hoping that obviously I am on Facebook because that's where I'm getting my everybody from. But anyway, if the Democrat Party, wins the election and the Senate, okay, we're going to discuss that. We're going to be virtually a totally socialist society. And if you don't believe that, you better do some research and you better do some history, because Joe Biden used to be somewhat of a moderate to a degree, but he's going to be pulled farther to the left. He's going to be I've said this in other situations. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change what I'm saying. He's going to be pulled because it's going to be a socialist, idealistic type of government. You've got AOC and the squad that are going to pull him. You've got Kamala Harris. She's one of the most liberal, far left senators in Congress right now. You know, she may not act like it on TV or whatever, but you listen to her, you look at her record. She is definitely a socialist, far left. She may not be totally socialist as far as like Bernie Sanders, at least he admits it, but that's where Biden's going to be pulled. He's going to be pulled toward the AOC and squad, who hate America. They've even said it as much. They want, and we're going to get into the Green Deal, because I'm going to tell you what, that's going to affect you big time, because that's part of the thing that Biden keeps saying. And when Biden says that he's the Democrat Party, forget that, people. He's not the Democrat Party. He might, you know, it's just like Donald Trump is not the Republican Party. So, you know, for people who are coming and going, I understand that, and if you don't want to wish to get into the comments, I understand that, but I hope you do comment. I'm gonna tell you something. First thing they're going to do is eliminate the Electoral College. They're going to eliminate the Electoral College, and they want to abolish it. And I'm telling you right now, if you go to the Brookings Institute, you will see this, that which means California and New York would have control of who becomes president. I'm not making this up. So for the Facebook police who want to question me or whatever, you do your research as well. You know, you're always doing that. You're always correcting people. You're always correcting people about factual facts. Well, you look it up and check it out. The Democrats, as of right now, want to do away with the Electoral College, and which would mean basically California and New York would definitely elect the president. Is that what you want? That would mean the rest of the country would not even bother to have to vote. Doris Roberts says she wasn't very good last night. Actually, I have to be honest with you. I wasn't extremely impressed with either one, but I was glad to hear Vice President Pence say to her, would she admit that they want to pack the Supreme Court, and she would not answer. At the same time, in all fairness, he didn't answer the coronavirus question either. And I'm just telling you as I saw it. And I'm sure that you might disagree or might agree. But she wasn't herself last night. She wasn't her. I did notice that, Doris. She was not she did a lot. She did look into the camera a lot. She did a lot of smiling, but she wasn't her normal, like she was when the Democrats were running for president, when she was attacking everybody. I mean, she was strong. She was strong during that debate, and there's no doubt about it. You got to give her that credit. So anyway, last night to me is not. It may or may not make some difference in the election, but I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of a difference in the election. The election's what, 4 weeks away? Roughly 4 weeks away. We're not going to know the answer. We're not going to know who's the president. I'm going to tell you what concerns me is that there will be a contested election, and you're going to find out that Nancy Pelosi is going to end up running the country as of January 20th. And if that happens, Lord help us. Also, what they want to do, the Democrats want to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. a state. And what that means is it will give the Democrat Party 2 more votes per state. Now, that makes a big, 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 big difference. Because then the Democrats will be in control of the Senate, of the House, of the Electoral College, which they will do away with, which they're already talking about. They want to get rid of it. Look, if they don't want to have voting, if they don't want to have ID voting, and they don't want to have signature to be verified, and already California has had, now this is on both sides. Oh, I don't know how many thousands of ballots that were mailed out for absentee ballots for both Biden and Trump, thousands that had no president on it for them to vote. So what do you think is going to happen? And we've got in New York, and we've got it all over. It's happening already. This mail-in voting is getting crazy. But you got 46 states that are involved with it. This is going to be an election that people better wake up. People better, if you want to have America to stay a safe and not be a socialist country, which we will be if Biden and Harris are elected. I'm telling you that right now. And if the Senate takes over the Democrat part, if the Democrats take over the Senate, I'll get it out. Also, they also want to include the Virgin Islands as a state. And with that, when I say that this adds 2 more Democrats, that's per state. Okay, so because each state has a 2-person for their electoral college, and they will be Democrats. So they want to eliminate the Senate filibuster, which, if you really want to know what that means, it's just another way to break the old political system, and I'm going to tell you what it really means. And it increased. It means it goes back to it really goes back to the movement to white supremacy. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's what it is. If they eliminate the Senate filibuster, because when Rand Paul wanted to brought it to the floor, it wouldn't pass it. Bob Biden, I'm glad you could make it. Electoral college was set up for good reasons. The founders wanted to ensure large population centers do not have the power to control the results. The election will be it will be a cluster flick. I'm glad you put it that way. But you're right. You're absolutely right, Bob. That's why I said they want to do away with the electoral college, because otherwise there's no reason for any of the Midwest states. They wouldn't have a chance. The states that are farm states are the states that don't have the high population. New York and California would elect, I've said in the past, New York, California, Pennsylvania, Florida, whatever, the larger populations would be it. That's it. Janet Blazin says, I think that there will be civil war no matter who wins. That's something we've discussed in the past, Janet, and I hate to say this. I'm concerned about the same thing. And the reason I say that, there's been more guns purchased this year, I think, than history. And the reason I say that, there's been something like over 5 million new gun owners just within, I don't know whether it's this year or I know it's more than that, because there's, with a 350 million people population, it might have been just within the last few months. The bottom line is, people are getting ready. People are scared. People are afraid. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is, you're going to have these crazy people go out and try to shoot at each other. You can't, if you were to have a Trump sign, your life is in danger. If you have a Biden sign, you've got crazies out there on the other side, on the right side, that your lives are in danger. I'm just telling you as I see it. I could be wrong, but I see a civil war coming if we're not careful. And I hope and I pray that doesn't happen. And I hope that the election is a fair election. And even though we're not going to know who it is, the night of the election, I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to take a while, and then look out. No telling what happens. If Nancy Pelosi pulls her little trick tomorrow, I think it's going to fail on her anyway, pulling the 25th Amendment to try to remove Trump from office because she doesn't think he's mentally fit. Bob says Chinese troops missing, messing in Canada. There is more going on there than meets the eye. You know, Bob, you bring up a strong point. You bring up a very strong point. People are not paying attention to China. I have kept on my website. I truly have. I've kept it up on purpose. A whole line of things about China. I haven't even talked about the election. I've not talked about the COVID. I've left about China because I tell you what, China is something. They're up to something. I don't know what it is, but they are up to something. Bob, you brought up a very good point. You know, if they're messing with Canada, that's right on our border. That's right on our border. So, you know, hey, you know, I've got a thumbs up so far, maybe 4 of them, it looks like, and a sad face. And I hope that I'm not trying to make people sad. Lisa, hey, I'm glad you could make it. Do you think that it's right for Donald Trump to call Kamala a monster right off the get-go? No, I do not. I don't think it was. I don't think it's right. I think that he should apologize for that. That's my opinion, because I don't think that would be the same thing if Biden called somebody on the right, their wife or somebody, a monster. So no, I would not. We need. Lisa says we need civility. We do, and it looks like we have a madman as president. I disagree there. I don't think he's a madman. Lisa, you know, and I don't agree with that. It's good for the America to think that Republicans are. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm reading that right. It's good that for America. I think Republicans are socialist in that they aren't for the individual. They are for the social. They are for the nationalism. The National Socialists was the Germans, and where the Trumps and the militias. You said he had. You said he hasn't. They like him. He doesn't necessarily like them, for crying out loud. He's already denounced them. He's not going for the KKK or the militias and so on and so forth. I think he believes that people should have a right to own and bear arms, and I totally agree with that. And I definitely do not agree that on the other part that the Republicans are socialists. And I think you're going to get some arguments out of some people on that one, Lisa, because you know, many Republicans do share. They, you know, look at your churches and so on and so forth that might be conservative or might not be, because there's many liberals and Democrats that go to church. You know, you can't say that Democrats don't go to church. So their churches give to other people and help other people. So to say that the Republicans are not, I'm telling you what I think is going to happen, because this is what they have said they want. They want to do away with the Electoral College. They want to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. and possibly the Virgin Islands. Did I say Virgin Islands? I might be wrong about that one. Yeah, it is the Virgin Islands, a state, so that they can control the whole country, because they want the Senate, they want the presidency, the vice presidency, and they want to control the whole country. And we will be a socialist country, because I'm going to continue to read and I'm going to show you and prove to you that what I'm saying. Douglas Kuhn says, sadly, I believe it's already started. You talking about the Civil War, are you, Douglas? I think that's what you're probably talking about. Bob says Trump has about 1 million reserves on alert. Now, Bob, let me ask you on that alert. Are you referring to the China situation in Canada, or are you referring to the United States if there is a civil war? If we have, because that's a very strong possibility within our country. I hate to say that, because I'm telling you something. This is a sad situation, and in reality, going back to Lisa. Lisa, I wasn't trying to insult you or wasn't trying to put you down. So please, don't take that personally. This is our way of having our own debates, our own thoughts, and without trying to, and still remaining friends, with everybody. Doris says, wait a minute here. Trump rallies are peaceful. I've never been to one, but I'm assuming they're peaceful. I don't know. I haven't seen anything otherwise, so I can't tell you. I can honestly not tell you. Bob says we've been moving to a socialism slowly over many decades. Yes, we have, and I've said that before, Bob. Not necessarily on the show, but I've said that throughout when I have my radio show. We are not far from full socialism, and that's the point that concerns me, Bob. And that's why you're right. You're right. We are, and if if they are brought into, if they're brought into the spot of being the leading or the administration, I'm talking about Harris and Biden, and then the Senate being taken over by the Democrats. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to become a socialist country, totally. Bob says they say it is for COVID response. Oh, you're talking about the military. Now the reserves. Now I know that the president has the reserves ready to deliver, and it's my understanding it was to deliver the supplies to the necessary places on that situation, Bob, as far as the COVID supplies, like the vaccine, to get them there as fast as they possibly can. I don't know whether that means anything. I don't know if there's fact that that the reserves will have them any quicker than anybody else, or why they couldn't be flown in, or whatever the case is. I really don't know. Dave Frank, thank you for joining us. Hey, good buddy, it's good to see you. You said good job, Neil. Happy birthday. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I have to tell you, you didn't have to remind me, though. Anyway, all right, we're going to move on, because I got to tell you what, we've got a lot to cover here tonight. We're going to get to as much as we can. If we can't get to it all, we'll do it another night. But okay, they want to increase legal immigration. The Democrats do. They want to increase legal immigration. The Democrats doubled it to 2 million. That's 2 million annually in 2013. Senate Bill 744 that was passed, that passed the Senate but failed the House. That's because the House at that time was Republican, apparently, if my memory serves me correct. Drastically, they want to increase the refugee flow now, then virtually cut it off under Trump. So, they're playing two sides of the game here. David says the new New World Order is bringing in the peacekeepers to stop the chaos when the economy fails. Dave, you might have a point there, because the New World Order is involved with everything right now. And when you talk about the New World Order, we also have to talk about the world bankers, which that affects both sides. Because when it comes to politics, my opinion is that there is definitely a both side situation when it comes to the New World Order and the world bankers, as to who controls what and who controls the country and who controls everything. I think you'll have to agree with me on that. Bob Freuden, COVID is used for excuse for everything. You know something? I love that you put that. I'm glad somebody did say that, because I've been thinking about that, but I keep forgetting to mention it. Bob, that's a good point. If you look at all the states, now each state has its own way of handling things. This is not national. Biden says he would make it a national mandate to do certain things, like wear a mask or something like that. National. And that would have to be almost not even an executive order. That would have to be like declare an emergency. Doris agrees with you. She says, "Amen, Bob." And I have to agree. There, the sad part about this whole thing is Donald Trump has been and I have to say this in all fairness, he has been leaving the decisions up to the governors. Now, he's been put down because since he got the virus, he's being blamed for, well, he got blamed for the virus to begin with. He also he's getting blamed that they won't touch his vaccine. I'm talking about Biden and I'm talking about Harris. They won't touch his vaccine. But if they get in and the vaccine is done by these companies, which Trump is not out in his white scientist suit developing the vaccine, but believe me, they'll take the vaccine if the scientists have got it done, or I should say the pharmaceutical scientists have it done, and they'll take the credit for getting the vaccine, and then they'll take the vaccine that Trump says that will be ready by maybe Christmas or even before the election, whatever. The dates always keep changing. We know that. But I'm going to tell you something. They'll end up taking the vaccine, the same one that they said they won't take, because they won't take it because of Trump, because Trump is doing warp speed. But if they get it in office and it's done by the first of the year, or whenever he is sworn in or they are sworn in, should they win the election, I'm going to tell you something right now. They'll take credit. They will take credit for that vaccine, and they will take it. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's what's going to happen if they are elected. And if you notice, I have to go on. I got to tell you, there's a tremendous amount of people that are out on the streets trying to recruit people, both on the left and the right, Republicans and Democrats. Where are the libertarians? Where are the independents? Where are the other people? Are they talking about them? Or are they just trying to get just sway both sides want the election? And I'm going to tell you, I have to be honest with you. Today, one of the people at our pharmacy, I'm not going to mention names or the pharmacy, but I'm going to say, are undecided. And I can understand why they're undecided. This is not something that is just a willy-nilly regular election. This election is extremely, extremely important. Excuse me, but I had to itch my nose. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but my hands are clean because I did wash them and I did use that cleaning stuff, whatever you call it. Anyway. Doris says he's getting blamed for trying to kill the Michigan governor. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, Doris, that the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, she came out very nicely supporting the FBI and the police and those that stopped this and caught this on time. And then she immediately went into some kind of political rant against Donald Trump. What's with her? I'm sorry. I would say that about our own governor or our own president. I'm upset that he would call Kamala Harris a monster. I thought that was very inappropriate. I didn't like it. Let's see. Catherine Kramer says Kamala had let's see. I'm trying to see a much. Catherine, I can't make that out. Night. She had a wait a minute here, because the reason I can't make it out is because it's blending in with the white background, and the print is almost very light. I mean, it's almost the color of the background, so that's the reason I'm having a hard time. But she said, is that a masochist night? Whatever. She did not have, to me, a good night last night. I'm not sure if there was a winner last night. Does anybody else have any ideas? Let me know. Catherine, I wished I could read that one word, but I'm sorry, and I apologize. But like I said, the words are blending in on the screen. Another movement that the Democrats want to make is that wait a minute, Bob just posted something. Bob says, did you hear that they have found the vaping disease clinically identical to COVID? I did not hear about that. Vaping disease only occurred in the United States, although many vape all around the world. Do you know? I did not know that, Bob. I appreciate you bringing that up. That so it shows when they get that lung disease or whatever it is from vaping. Is that what you're saying, Bob? That shows up as COVID? But that means just the same thing as you've mentioned before, Bob, that a cold will show up as COVID. Probably my allergies and my sinuses would show up as a COVID because it's like an infection, you know. And so that's an interesting point that you make. Lisa says, what about Trump demanding to undo the next debate when they didn't say if he was tested negative on it or not? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what the deal is about that one, as far as what I understand, is the fact that the debate committee said they were going to do a virtual type of debate. Trump says no, because he will be beyond the 10-day period when that debate could take place. All he said that now is that he wants to move the debate up if they don't want to do it, but he's not going to do one where he's in a little box someplace and Biden's in a box in his basement someplace. That's not a debate. They could sit across the room from each other. They could do a town hall and be across the room and have Republicans ask Biden questions and have Democrats ask Trump questions, and let them debate it that way. That's what I would do if I were in that committee. And I got to tell you something. I think the committee is look, the one debate that they're having, that the commentator that's on it was a Biden. He worked for Biden. He was part of the Biden when he was in the Senate. And why is that fair? You know that's going to be a one-sided, lopsided debate anyway. I think to me that's ridiculous. And I would, if I were the Republicans, I would say that ain't going to happen. We need another commentator to control that debate that would not be throwing softball questions to Trump or to Biden, which they will do. Like last night, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that woman from AP was just as bad as Chris Wallace. The only difference was she was throwing softball questions, and she kept saying, if you noticed, I noticed many times, Pence was told he had 15 seconds. Harris was given 30 seconds. On a couple occasions, Pence did get 30 seconds, but I'm gonna tell you what, it was not a good debate. There was only a couple moments. Probably the fly is the biggest talk today. The fly on Pence's hair is probably the biggest talk of all that's going on right now today. Bob says the vaping occurred in July of 2019 with COVID already here. The COVID, that's a good question. Was the COVID already here in 2019? Bob, I have to be honest with you. I've questioned that because it was developed in 2019 in China. Of course, we know that. So could it have been here then? And was the vaping cause of was a cover for the virus? Wow, that's a good question. I got to tell you, I honestly don't know. I really don't know. That's a heck of a question, Bob. But it makes sense that I don't know anything about vaping other than what I've read and what I've heard. I've not heard anything about any connection with the COVID and vaping and the vaping. Jennifer Joe Ducey, thank you for joining us all the way from Morristown, Tennessee. I'm glad you could join us, Jenny. I guess I can call you Jenny because that's what you put. If you have any comments, please throw them at me, Jenny, because I tell you what, that's two people from Tennessee, Douglas Coons and Jennifer Ducey. Jennifer Joe Ducey. Let me rephrase that. And yes, I do know where Morristown is. That's a nice, great little town. And I love the mountains there. The Smoky Mountains are beautiful. Oh, I got to tell you. Doris Roberts says Pence did awesome last night. I think he did a good job. But as far as a winner, I couldn't tell you whether he won or whether he didn't win. Because when I look at things, I mean, I think he had some. The only thing I didn't like about what Pence was doing, Doris, and I'm going to be very upfront about this one. I don't think he smiled. He was very serious, which is okay. Because I noticed that Kamala Harris did a lot of laughing, but she was more mocking laughing, in my opinion. But at least she did get that attention that she could, that she was smiling and she laughed, which is that there's nothing wrong with that. Bob says, we're going on here. Bob Freuden says that the virus is used to construct the COVID was developed at Fort Detrick in Maryland. I did read that there was a possibility that our military was involved with the COVID. But I honestly, something, this is really, I've heard about universities towards the South, like in maybe Florida and possibly Alabama or Atlanta or Georgia or something like that, where they were working with about the COVID, virus, et cetera, et cetera. So were they working with Canadians, or not Canadian, China? I mean, how much proof can we really come up with that says, yes, it is a China virus? I don't know. I have on YouTube my conspiracy about the COVID virus. If you go to if you just type in Neil Douglas, the New America, you'll see one picture of me, a big one. Scroll down until you see the round circle. Click that on, and you'll see all my videos if you want to catch up and find out and read what I say or hear what I had to say about what I call my conspiracy, which I talk about the virus. Bob says they had to shut down Fort Detrick because of the disease. Bob is up on this stuff more than I am, as far as because of the military and the medical, because he's been involved with medical. So I do trust him. He's been in the past. He's always been very good about this. And Bob, I do appreciate that because I try to keep up with as much as I can on as many things as I can. But like anybody else, I'm human. I don't have the ability. I don't have the ability to know as much as I'd like to know. I don't have that ability to know that the medical terms. I want to go on here to the let's see. We covered the they want to enact an amnesty, providing the Democrats with the tens of millions of new voters. That's something we've got to watch out for this coming election, is the fact that that's what they're planning on doing. But they want to also, if they get in power, they want to enact that so that they can get, especially, if it as a getting illegals to begin sponsoring their relatives under an absurd land unreformed by Trump, and he got rid of that. But the family where they got the families separated law. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is the Democrats want to enact it so that illegals can vote. Well, in California, I can tell you right now, they're probably voting because they're sending them out to everybody and his brother. And people are moving out of California and people that are moving into into where those other people left are getting ballots for two people. And the people that left, if they didn't leave a forwarding address or whatever, or change of address, or notify the fact that they're moving to in the city or state that they're moved to, they're not going to get one. So somebody else can vote twice for that person, and the other person doesn't get to vote. Or it can be a situation where everybody's getting. I mean, millions. The governor of California, and I'm sure that's happening in other states too, is absolutely out of his mind to just willy-nilly mail out mail-in votes. But how many states are doing it? There's a ton of them, believe me. Bob says that Trump moved a lot of F-22s, another high-tech planes to Alaska, north of where the Chinese troops are messing in Canada and British Columbia. Okay, now that you brought that up, this could be a situation that could get out of hand either way. Now, there's no doubt in my mind, because he's done it in the past. Biden himself, gives in to China. He's done it, and he's done it in the past, and he'll do it again. Trump, on the other hand, he does not want to start a war, in my opinion, but he's going to protect America's best interest, and especially if we're in Alaska, because look, not only do we have Alaska to be concerned about, you've got Russia that's right next door, and Russia claims to be our friend, according to President Trump, that he gets along just fine. I don't trust Russia as far as I can throw him. I don't trust Putin, or whatever his name is, Putin. I just don't. I really don't. And I think we have a great possibility. I think that there's a great possibility that we're looking at it's not a Cold War. It's really getting to be a warm war, as far as I'm concerned. And what I mean by that is we're on the verge of some kind of chaos that could really turn into something horrible, especially if our country goes into a civil war and we're caught off guard. If our country, after this election, goes into civil war, then we're caught off guard. And then Bob says the war has already started. Well, Bob, you kind of said what I just did, except you made it more clear. But things are definitely warming up for that. Douglas Kuhn says that I believe that this has been in motion for a while, and I believe that it all started when the changes of the president was made, and taxation agreements, and you're talking about with the agreements with China, and this, feel as if a socialist movement has been pushed experimentally because of this. Sorry, I feel this way. In the Democrat Party, think they are doing something progressive for the country, and they don't understand that their actions would be destruction to our country, from inside, and it's already happening. You're right about that, Douglas. And many understand that the consequences and the reactions. Well, what you just said, and I'm like I said, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading, but it's the print is very almost gray next to the white, and I can't change the color of the background, which is kind of sad, but that's what it is. This Trump has been tough on China as far as sanctions and as far as the tariffs, and I'm glad he is. And that might have kind of upset China's apple cart. And as far as the Democrats, Douglas, the Democrats are more progressive now than they've ever been. They're much more progressive than they have ever been. And I'm going to tell you right now, is the I want to get on to the another proposal by the Democrats is the anti-racist amendment to the Constitution that would allow the government to punish any racial inequality, okay, which would automatically be evidence of racist policy. Now, this may not sound like it makes sense to you, but listen, given that we never were equal to the outcomes of the multiracial societies, that would mean virtually every social interaction would become a potential federal case. That's what the Democrats are wanting. Now, why they would want that, I don't know. They have had the Black Americans under their thumb for so long that this is what I don't understand why they would want to make it a federal case. I don't understand that. Let me see now. Bob's got the middle class in America must be eliminated. They want America disabled. They have done a great job. China filling supply lines and growing as let's see. Oh, as we die under these lawful lockdowns. Oh, listen, I can buy into that one. Look, China, as I said before, I've left it on my website purposely that China is a danger to this country. How much do they own of our country? How much do they owe this country? How much money are we? How much do they control of our country? I've left that up on purpose. It's on AmericanTruthFinders.com, AmericanTruthFinders.net, AmericanTruthFinders.org, all three of them. And there are videos, and you can watch them just as they scroll across. You can watch the videos, and you can decide for yourself. Lisa says, I don't believe we can't think Trump is pushing to a civil war. He doesn't seek to unify the people, and let's see, and police. And again, I'm having a hard time because of the background. I want to make sure I get it right, Lisa. I could almost have if you had a camera, I could put you on invite you on so you could talk about that. Anyway, police and abuse of people of color. I got you there, and always stands by the police and the judiciary. So he proudly and the Proud Boy types. He didn't even know who the Proud Boy types were, Lisa. This is why Trump is on the side of the Proud Boys. I don't even think he knows who the Proud Boys are. I never even heard of them until that was brought on the news. I'm just saying that I don't think he did know. And as far as the police, he does back up the police, and he should back the police up and get rid of the bad ones. I think we need some kind of police reform. There's no doubt about that, because look, there's 99.9% of the police, in my opinion, are good. Okay, I got that off my chest. I've said it in the past. I'll say it again. You got 1%, maybe 2% at the most, or 0.5%, whatever the case might be, that are bad. I am telling you right now, most of the police are good. And I support President Trump because I believe that he does support the police, and he does not. Like, for instance, the Breonna Taylor, he's if he's if he's racist, or if he's anti people that if he doesn't have people like people that are black, how come so many people were in his administration? How come so many black people are now supporting him? You know, he's I don't see him as being racist. Maybe I'm the blind one. If I am, well, I'm sorry, but that's why I'm just saying the way it is. But I love the fact that, Lisa, you do come out and say what you think, and all of you, in fact. So I'm not just degrading anybody else, because the rest of you are great too. If I didn't have you, I wouldn't have a show. I'm only your commentator. You guys are actually the ones that have the show. Bob says they control Hollywood. Oh boy, is that the truth? Washington, D.C., state capitals, and attorneys. I didn't get that last word, but I could. But anyway, you're right. They do. They control Hollywood. In fact, I've said this before. If you ever watch some of the Hollywood movies, it's almost like the government is either in with them on it, or the government watches the Hollywood movies and says, "Hey, let's do it like they did it. It worked. It worked in the movies." Anyway, Lisa says, then you support a civil war. No, I don't support a civil war. I never have, and I never will. I said that earlier, Lisa. I said that's not what I was implying when I said that I think that Trump supports the police and he supports black people. I do not believe he wants any type of civil war. Why would he want civil war, especially if he wants to get reelected? And why would I support it? Why would you support it? You don't want it. I mean, that's I'm sorry. That's where you and I do definitely disagree. I do not support civil war. That's the worst thing I want to see. I hate it when I see these little children getting shot by and murdered by gang members, and these in Chicago, for instance, where they have these gang constantly killing each other over the weekends. They can't, and Trump has even offered to go in and help try to stop that. And Chicago doesn't want it, but it's a Democrat city, right? So take it for what it's worth. Anyway, Doris has a lot of people supporting him. He does have a lot of people supporting him. And I will tell you this, so does Biden. That's why this election is going to be so darn close. And it's going to be the fact that when we get down to November 3rd, people are going to be staying up all night only to find out that there's going to be a state or two states that have not got the results, or a city or a precinct or whatever, that's a large one that may decide the election. And by January 20th, I'm telling you right now, if they don't have a decision, Nancy Pelosi takes over. That's just the way it works. That's the way our Constitution works, and that's just the way that would work. Another thing is, what we've talked about as far as what can happen with a presidency. These are possibilities. They're strong possibilities, because they have said they want to stack the court. They have said that they want the Green Deal. Now, there's something that we should discuss, but we'll get to that. And as far as the Electoral College, I'm going to tell you what, it was done for a good reason. And it was done by our forefathers, because even though they couldn't foresee the future like we have today with all the technology, the one thing they could see was there were cities that would be bigger in certain colonies or states, whatever the case might have been at that time. And they knew that they had to figure out a way to make elections not by popular, but by having every state have the equal amount of chance to vote and have a chance to be a part of the election. Bob says it would not be a civil war. It needs to be a revolutionary war. Going back to the days when our forefathers, took on the redcoats. Is that what you're referring to, Bob? It would be a revolutionary war. No, you're right. But a civil war, I can see that happening because of the division. There's so much. If you look, the way I see it, and maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe I'm the wrong one. The way I see it, when you look at media, whether it's social media, whether it's whether on the internet or whether it's TV or wherever it's at, look at what they do. They find one topic, as if they're all given the same script. I don't care which network it is. They get one topic, and that's all they do is they hammer on it to divide us. And so I don't know. I see the possibilities of a civil war. I really do. I don't want to see it happen, but I see that possibility. I think the biggest problem in America right now is our media. They are not news. They are commentators. They are telling you what they think. Anyway, Ducey, she wants to know what is in the green, or what is the Green Deal? Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to bring that up. I do have that here, Jenny. Just hang on a minute. All right, if I can read my own message or writing or whatever you want to call it. All right, a member of the Democrat Party, that was AOC, including Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, who is running as vice president, Kristen Gillibrand, Julian Castro, and Beto O'Rourke, for starters, have already endorsed and expressed support for the Green New Deal. Now, what that really is, and it's not high. It's not. They want to do. I'm going to try to simplify it if I can. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to try to simplify it. They want to get rid of automobiles as we know it today. They want to get rid of gasoline cars to start with. That's just one of the things. I want to get to where I can get to it without taking up too much time there. While some of the specifics need to be ironed out, the plan's author assure that this is a massive massive transformation of our society. Needs to be clear goals and a timeline. The timeline is 10 years, and here are some of the goals. They want to ban effective, affordable energy, GND, calls for the elimination of all fossil fuel energy production, the lifeblood of American industry and life, which includes not only all, but also, sorry, I have to read, but this is a good topic. All natural gas, one of the cheapest sources of American energy, and one of the reasons the United States has been able to lead the world in carbon emissions education. They want to eliminate nuclear energy. The GND, the Green New Deal, that's the GND, calls for eliminating all nuclear power, and one of the only productive and somewhat affordable clean energy sources available to us in 11 years. This move will plunge around 20% of American energy generation so that you can rely on intermittent wind for your energy needs. They eliminate 99% of cars. That's what their plan is. They want to eliminate 99% of the cars. Well, what's that going to do, number one, to people who can't afford to buy another car? Because what they want is to be fair under the GND. I'm reading what exactly, whoops, excuse me, hope I didn't make that too much noise. What they really want is everyone will need to report their cars with Flintstone type of holes, really, basically for cycling. The authors state that the GND would replace every combustion engine vehicle, tracks, airplanes, boats, and 99% of cars within 10 years. Okay, that's basically what the Green Deal is. Now, I can go on and tell you what they want and what they're really in for it. And Kamala Harris is in favor of it. And Biden says he's not, but then he says he is. So I don't know. The basic thing there is, if they want to do away with airplanes, all they want is a high-speed rail, period, for all transportation. They don't get rid of every car. People who can't even afford to buy a car won't be able to go anywhere unless they ride that rail or whatever it is they're going to put up, and that's going to be run by something. I don't know how they do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, AOC is a very, very young, what would I want to call her? Representative, I guess. She's very young, very inexperienced, and she's trouble. And so is the squad. I'll tell you just like it is. They don't like America. They are wanting to do away with America as we know it. And I'm sorry, I can't go for that. And I hope on the next elections that they are removed from office. I really do. And there's one of them that should be removed anyway because of a couple of things that she's done. But I'm not going to get into that. Let's see here. I think Lisa, I didn't get. Let me see. I want to make sure that I got everybody here. Douglas, I didn't get to you. Let me see. Wait a minute here, because I was answering Jennifer's question, I think. Okay. Let me see here. Bob. Okay. Lisa was after Jennifer. I'm just catching up, and I'm sorry that I'm behind here, but I want to catch up with everybody and see if I can get everybody's questions in. Lisa Anderson, what do they have to do legally to change it to electoral college? If they win the election and the Senate, and they have the House, they actually want to get rid of the Constitution. So they would more than likely amend the Constitution or get rid of it, period, because that they would definitely get rid of the Electoral College. I mean, I don't know if I've got that information here in front of me, but let me look real quick, Lisa, because that is a good question. That's a very good question. Okay. I'm looking here. Yeah, it would be amendment. It says right here, they would a more permanent solution would be to amend the Constitution itself, and that is that's the response to get rid of the Electoral College, and so that was what they would do, and they would do it. They don't like the Constitution. They don't want the Constitution because look, if they get in power, I'm going to tell you right now, your First Amendment right is going to be gone. Your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, your freedom of whatever, without the government's permission, is going to be gone. They want to do away with the Second Amendment. You cannot own your in any arms. They will come and get your firearms. If we become a democratic-controlled country, it will be known as a socialist country. And I'm not referring to Democrat socialists because there is a little difference. And I've had this discussion with other people about it. And I'm constantly getting hammered, but that's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But anyway, so that's why I say we can't let them change the Constitution. We can't let them get control of the Senate. And as far as the president's concerned, my main concern is not so much Biden as it is Kamala Harris, because twice now, and I don't know if it was an accident. It probably was an accident, but both of them called it the Harris-Biden administration. They both said that. So do the Democrats have something in plan for Biden? I think I have told you in the past, and I'll tell you again, I do think they know that they're going to get rid of Biden somehow. They'll either find him too ill, they'll find him maybe mentally incompetent, they'll find some reason, just like they're trying to do with Trump right now. as far as the 25th Amendment. So, I mean, think about that. I want to go on now. Bob says, recapture the government, restore the Constitution of the and the rule of law, and not men. The answer was to the 1984, 1776. You know something, Bob? I like the way you said that and why you worded that. It is the rule of law, the rule of land, the rule of, get rid of man. Look, our government is made up of lawyers, and they weren't even supposed to be allowed to be in office because they were considered royalty. That goes back to our founding fathers. Somehow that got ignored. Most everybody that's in office today, is either an attorney or has worked for an attorney, but most of them are all attorneys. For the biggest share, anybody out that's in office today aren't even supposed to be, and they're making laws to protect themselves, not to protect us. You might have a few in there that are fighting for us, but I'm going to tell you what, the few is a handful, and that's about it. Let's go on. Bob says, again, said the 1%. I got to scroll this down. This is on the other side. Oh, that's right, because I had Pastor on the other one the other night. Okay, Bob says the percent are the enemy. They only seek to divide us and not to unite us, and not to unite against them. Bob, that goes very strongly as far as this possibility of a civil war or revolutionary war, as you call it. The fact that they don't want unity, they want division, they want control, because if they have division, they have control. Okay, so that's the bottom line. If they have division, they have control, and they are dividing us. They are dividing us, and they are controlling us. They're already today. You can't go anywhere. If they tell you have to wear a mask, you better wear a mask, or you might go to jail. You might get fined. You might whatever. I don't know. Depends on the state. Depends on the situation. Depends on the individual. Depends on the business. Depends on the governor. So this is something we have to think about very seriously. We have to somehow or another get control of our government and get back to business and have a government that looks out for the people. We are supposed to be the people. They're only representatives. We are supposed to be the government. They are only the people that we put in place to defend us, to help us, and to make sure that we have our freedoms. Well, it's not working that way. Somehow or another, it got turned around that they are the boss and we are the slave. And yet they'll still get their $18,000 a month while they're sitting while other people are waiting to get a stimulus check that might need it. When you've got the Republicans are just as bad as the Democrats in this one, because they take their time off so they can campaign, or the Democrats are taking off until the 19th unless they can get somebody together real quick. So, both sides are to blame for this. They don't care. They say they worry about the American people. Well, when Donald Trump yesterday said he'll sign the darn checks to make sure that people get a stimulus check, well, good for him. I don't care. And they come back, the Democrats come back and say, or Nancy, I think did, that all he wants to do is put his signature on it. Well, maybe if that's the case, good for him. As long as these people can feed their children and get that $1,200, maybe that might help them keep from losing their house or whatever. I'm on his side for that one. And maybe that'll scare these people, both Republicans and Democrats, to get back to work and do something they're supposed to do. All right. I'm sorry I rambled. Douglas Coons says, regarding the Proud Boys, I feel they can't know who they are. That he didn't know who they were. Well, I didn't even know. During the debate, when asked if he would condemn the group publicly, he said sure, and he did. But I think the question, as Doug says, was like, it was asked like that because they knew that he would respond, and he did. You know, he asked what group, and he needed to be. Let me see if I'm reading this right. He asked what groups he needed to condemn, and I agreed. He asked for the name, and I will believe that he truly felt that was literally speaking about the Proud Boys, meaning young men and with love for the country. And he may have. I mean, I don't know, Doug. That makes a very good point. But the bottom line there is Trump. Look, if you want to get nasty about it, people, I can tell you right now, Biden, his mentor was Robert Byrd. Robert Byrd was part of the KKK. Don't tell me that Biden did not have any ties. Now, he may have changed his life around. That's fine. And I will, you know, you can condemn, you can commend anybody for changing their life. But he also gave the eulogy at Byrd's funeral, and he said Byrd was his mentor. Well, I tell you what, I haven't heard Trump say that, so I don't know. I'm just telling you what's going to happen if they get elected. Lisa says Trump said he would not accept the results. Thinks it would be a fraud. If he thinks it would be a fraud, that is causing anxiety among people. We need to know how. We need to follow the laws. We need to no longer have a constitutional government. Well, if we don't have a constitutional government, what are we going to have? Chaos, Lisa. I agree with you. I think he should at least say at a certain time we should have the election decided. As far as him conceding, I don't know that Biden has conceded, has he? Said that he would concede. In fact, Hillary Clinton told him never to concede, never give in, don't give in. That's from your former first lady of the United States. She's still upset that she lost the election to Trump because of the Electoral College. So what you're saying is, that he says that he will not concede if he thinks it's fraud. Well, would anybody concede if they thought it was fraud? I don't think so. And then they would have to let the Electoral College decide. Period. That's what the Electoral College was designed for. Let's go on. I don't want to keep you all night. I didn't even get through half of what I was going to get through. Anyway, Bob says the real crux of our transformation is the implosion of the biosphere and the sixth great mass extinction that we are experiencing is not climate change. It is hang on, we're going to go on down. I'm not sure what he said, but he said what that was supposed to end up being, Bob. But anyway, the next statement said, if everyone on Earth were to live as Americans live, the world would be more Earths. That's right, 5 more Earths. Hang on here, I got to scroll down a little bit to finish reading that. The paragram has never been sustainable. Let me ask you, Bob, explain that one to me a little bit. If I'm missing the point here, you say if everyone on Earth were to live as Americans, life would be 5 more Earths. The paragon has not been sustainable. Are you referring to the population-wise? Are you referring to how we treat each other? Are you referring to to America, there would be like, we would need 5 worlds because of the way we live and the way we populate or the way we whatever. Because when you look at China, China is so overly populated, they want to get rid of people. So anyway, I we'll have to talk about that one, Bob, because I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry if I'm sounding dumb, because I don't mean to, but it's a good point. I think I get what you're talking about, but I'm not gonna say that I do know exactly what you're saying. Doris says the governor has already said electric cars are here. Yeah, and would be by 2023. That they're there in their 20. Yes, you're right. I have heard that. The governor of Michigan says that the electric cars are already. See, they're going to still have electric cars are still going to have fuel. They're still going to have to have some kind of gasoline or some kind of fuel besides a battery. Because right now they've got electric cars, but they still use gasoline. Because otherwise they only go so far. Those batteries only go so far, and they're so expensive you can't just replace them every time you turn around. So anyway, let's see. Lisa says, Dr. Peshnik, if I'm pronouncing that right, big Trump supporter and CIA coup scientist, said he wants to get rid of the Constitution. Well, that I don't know. If he wants to get rid of the Constitution, I would have to disagree with him, because I think that, the Constitution. I've heard many people say this, and I understand them saying this. The point I'm getting at is we need the Constitution. We cannot have just a free for all country. We have to have something that goes along with our country, that goes along with what we've had in the past, where we've had elections, where we've had our right to have some freedoms and not have, and the Constitution is similar. And think of a Constitution, I guess, like this, and maybe I'm wrong, and tell me I'm wrong. It's almost kind of like the 10 Commandments. If we follow the 10 Commandments, well, what a great world it'd be, right? Well, the Constitution is kind of set up like that, where if we follow the Constitution, we've got a pretty good situation going. And I don't know about this doctor. I'll have to read up on that. At least that's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to look into it, because I would not approve of. I don't agree with him. I don't think we should. I don't care whether he's a supporter of the CIA or President Trump or whoever he is. And whether he's a specialist or whatever he is, if he thinks we should get rid of the Constitution, he better get on the Democrat Party. As far as I'm saying, people are starting to get tired. I can tell already, because of the amount of people that we have. So I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick here. Doris Roberts says, are they going to? Are they closing? Illigan? Wait a minute, no, Indiana again. Is that what you said? Yeah, Indiana. Are they closing Indiana again? We don't know that for certain. Right now, we're in stage 5, but they say we're a hot spot. So I guess there's a possibility they might close it, but truthfully, I don't think they will, because the northern part of Indiana has got some hot spots, but there are some other parts of northern Indiana that have only got like 1 case and not even any deaths, from what I understand. So I would say no. But then again, I'm not the governor, and I'm not the mayors. I'm not the people that make those decisions. Doris goes on to say they work for us. That's right. That's what I said. We are the government. They are supposed to work for us. We pay their salaries. They get $18,000 a month, whether or not they show up to work or not. And they only work 180 days a year. Come on. Let me tell you something, people. What happens in the United States happens and affects the entire world. And I really mean that. The entire world is affected by what goes on right here in the United States. This election will affect the entire world. The entire world's looking at the debates. The entire world is watching the president, watching who's going to be president. You've got Russia, you've got China, you've got possibly India. You've got possibly how many other countries that are trying to get involved and sway our elections, who are going to play games and try to get involved again, just like they did before, only to find out that now that Trump is going to let the investigation be open to prove that he was not involved. There's a lot of people that were involved, and Biden was in on that. And when that comes out, I'm going to tell you something. It's possible that even former President Obama was involved. And if that's the case, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people's heads should roll, but they won't. They won't. I'm going to tell you what, they'll get off scot-free. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. If you agree with me, that's fine too. But I'm going to tell you that's the way I look at it. Bob says the only legitimate function of the government is to protect our God-given rights. Amen to that. Amen to that, Bob. I'm glad you brought that up. I should have done it myself, but I got to be honest with you. I was on a rant, and that is exactly right. And thank you for bringing that up, Bob. Lisa says Trump knew who the Proud Boys were because he rattled off their motto: stand back and stand by. I don't know if that's their motto or not. I have to be honest, Lisa. And I'll look that up and see. And if it is, if he knew that, then I will admit it, and I will say that he's wrong if he did. Because the Proud Boys, from what I understand, I understand about this much about them because I haven't really cared one way or another about the Proud Boys. That stand back and stand by was a statement he made, I think, before, correct me though, before he really found out who they were. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it, because look, that's why you people are here to help me, because I learn right along with you. All right, and Bob says we would need 5 more Earths. Okay, that's going back to what you're talking about. And have the resources needed for all the people to live American lifestyle. That's an interesting point, Bob. I guess I was right in one respect. So anyway, let me go on here. Let me see who's next. Douglas Coons. Deploy. Let's see, and the general idea of racism is the thing that can quickly sway voters. Oh boy, I like that way you said that. And they are doing everything they can to falsify the truth because that could be the swing grace through that is getting disgusting to do so. I guess I think I'm reading that right. It's hard for me to see through that this print here. Divide and conquer, as you said, kept us apart, and we are easily controlled. Yes, Doug, just thank you for bringing that up about the racist situation. I'm going to tell you what, there is no room in this country for racism, as far as I'm concerned, because I'll tell you, just like I said before in my past videos and my past shows. If somebody's sick, if I were to get sick and I needed a blood transfusion, I'm certainly not going to worry and say, the person to give you that blood, are they a black person? Because if they are, I don't want their blood. No. If I need their blood, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to thank them, and they're going to be my brother or my sister, as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm going to tell you what, we all bleed red. And if they can save my life, or if I could save theirs, you think I wouldn't? I would do it in a minute. And I think any of the rest of you would too, because from the comments I'm getting, I can tell you are all love this country, every one of you. And so that's the way it is. Lisa says Trump does not follow the Constitution. He has assassinated and talked about assassinating Syrian president. What's that got to do with our Constitution? And the Syrian president, I'm not, what do you mean he's talked about assassinating him? I'm not sure I understand. I'm not jumping down your throat, Lisa. I'm asking a straight out question. I want to know what you mean by that. I have not heard anything about him wanting to assassinate the Syrian president, unless you're talking about the one that was recently we took out, that was a terrorist type guy for his own people, even our people. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but maybe you can update me, okay? Doris, God gave us our rights. He did. And the thing of it is, and Douglas Kuhn says you're right. Thanks, Doug. I'm not sure to what I'm right about, but I'm going to tell you, people, because we're going to bring this to close here pretty quick. We've gone an hour and a half, and I have so much more to cover. And I tell you what, for the next election, and hopefully for the next debate, I think we should discuss a little bit further, possibly our next show. I think my question would be, do you want to do a show on Sunday, or should we wait another week and do it on Thursday, as I've been doing? Message me. You can private message me, or you can let me know here, because the point I'm getting at is because, I've got some comments here that Biden made about the COVID-19 that contradicts everything he has said. And that, in other words, he's backtracked. He's done so much plagiarism as far as saying he would do this, he would do this, he would do this, and Trump has already done it. Maybe I shouldn't use the word plagiarism, but the bottom line is, I'm telling you right now, people, be prepared. You better tell your friends to wake up. Lisa says, Trump says he wanted to assassinate President Assad, but Mathis told him not to. Wait a minute here. Oh, I can't make out that one word because because it's blended in. It says he holds it. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I do get it now. I can see it now. He holds it against Assad, or against Mathis. Okay. Now I know who you're talking about. I'm going to have to do some research to find out why he thinks Assad should have been, assassinated. Because I honestly, there's been so much. He's gotten rid of ISIS, and he did get rid of, but Mathis also, if I'm not mistaken, Mathis is not one of Trump's favorite people anymore, or Trump is not Mathis's most favorite people anymore. So that could go either way. But I will look into that, Lisa. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you looked it up, because I know that's what you did in order to give me that information. Doris says Sunday. So you think we should do a show on Sunday? All right. Hey, if the rest of you are in favor of Sunday, we'll do a show Sunday. I have no problem with that. A lot of times I haven't done a show on Sundays because I used to. But I thought, people might not want to do a show on Sunday because if they had to get, they had maybe church services in the evening or whatever the case might be. But then I forgot that with the COVID, you couldn't go to church because the governor say you can't even go to church. Douglas Kuhn says, yes, Sunday. Okay. So far I'm being voted for Sunday. So this coming Sunday, which is, today's what, the 8th, we got the 9th, 10th, 11th, the 11th of October, which is in 3 days. We will continue with this topic. I really appreciate, let's see, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I really do. Douglas said, I missed this, Doug. I'm sorry. And I hope it's okay if I call you Doug. But anyway, here's my point. You wrote that you are right regarding the president didn't know who the Proud Boys were. I thought that's what I understood, and I'm glad you corrected me on that and made sure that I was right. When he did find out, he did say something about there's good on each side, and he was referring to there's good and there's bad people. So there was some good people on one side and some bad people on the other side. And I think that's what he was referring to as far as when the Proud Boys came up. Maybe that's what he meant. I don't know. And maybe I am misquoting the timing of what he said about the good and the bad. And if I am, I apologize, because I'm only human. And as far as the Facebook police, I want you to know one thing. You can check me out. You've taken down a post that I put up that was absolutely unnecessary to take down, and I'll tell you why. The headline of the post that I put up said that this was a unproven or comment or post that was made. It was unproven whether it was true, and it had to do with wearing masks and the hand cleaning, and whether or not germs the mutated now from this virus and could not be destroyed by wearing a mask, that they got so small enough that they go through the mask and the hand cleansing, they became immune to it. So that article did clarify that, and you still took the post down. But what I'm reporting here, I will tell you when it's my opinion. Other than that, I have the facts. And for the Facebook police, if you disagree with that, please remember one thing. This affects you as well as it does the rest of us. This whole thing about freedom of speech, about the right to express ourselves. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. You were set up for social media. Now, yes, there is a tremendous amount of conspiracies that are out there. There's a ton of them. We know that. And I agree that fact checking is fine. But until you know for certain what's going on, take a look and think about what's being said. I don't like conspiracies, but you've got to remember some conspiracies have come true. There's good ones and bad ones. You know, you've got the 9/11 conspiracies out there right now. I say conspiracies because we don't know the true facts as of yet, even though there have been saying that there are facts. Look, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to find out. And I think the rest of you are too, including the Facebook police. You know, if our government was involved, then hey, then that's mass murder. Who would be held responsible at that point? Anyway, I've said enough. Folks, Sunday night, our next show will continue with this topic. What happens if to America, if Joe Biden, Kamala Harris win the presidency and vice presidency, and the Senate is taken over by the Democrats? What will happen? That's what our discussion will be on Sunday again. It'll be part 2. I will have this up on YouTube, hopefully within the next day or so. And the last video I will have up on Facebook in a day or so. Right now, and if you want to go to my Facebook or my YouTube, page, it is Neil Douglas, The New America. And when you get it on YouTube, do not hit the first one. Just go down till you hit the round circle. If you hit the first one, if there's a round circle, it may take you to all the videos. But the second one shows how many videos, like there's 22 there now. So that's the one, if you would. And if you would support me, just please support me and subscribe. It's free. It just helps me grow on YouTube, and it helps me get, when somebody does a search, it helps to get there faster. And it just helps me all that much more. So I appreciate everybody. I love all of you. And Lisa, don't take offense to me jumping on you. You're great. I wasn't meaning to jump on your case. You're a great debater, and I appreciate the fact that you're good at getting looking up facts and so on and so forth. And I always appreciate your comments. And for Bob and Douglas and Jenny Joe and Doris and oh my gosh, you know, we've got Evelyn. Catherine Kramer, I think Daisha was even on here, Daisha Coons. Thank all of you. In the meantime, people, please be safe, be careful, stay healthy, do what you think is right. Do what you think is right, because I'm going to tell you. That's what's going to be what makes United States of America great. And I'm going to tell you. Let's see here. Douglas Kuhn says, got another watcher. Dad's here too. Hey, all right. Well, you tell Dad I said hi. I got to tell you what, that's always great to hear. Lisa says, good show, deal. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I couldn't do it without all of you. I really couldn't. Like I said, you're the show. I'm only the commentator, and I'm the only one that all I do is give you my opinions and read what I read and do my research. And hey, we try to make it as good a show as possible. Lisa, you were great for you're a good sport. I can tell you that. And again, I want to thank all of you. We'll have the show on Sunday night, this Sunday night at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. And I will promote it. I'll try to promote it as much as I can. I didn't know I'd get this good of a turnout tonight. I had a great turnout as far as I'm concerned. There's some great comments from all of you. Bob, you know something, with your education in medical field and what you know about the military is so helpful. I hope you can join us on Sunday. And Doris, you know that you're like Lisa and Bob and Evelyn who was in the Philippines. You know, everybody's so faithful, and I appreciate that. And I realize when some of you can't make it. So in the meantime, be careful, be safe. We'll see you Sunday night, God willing. In the meantime, God bless and have a good night, what's left of it. And for those of you that live on the West Coast, if you can still have time for supper, enjoy it. And we'll talk to you Sunday night, God willing. Bye now.